Welcome back then. It is Ryder Cup, Golf is Ruining My Life, episode 2 of loads, 5 in fact, and it's still very much the run-up. We haven't even started playing golf yet, which makes our life fun, but Rob Jerram's life even more fun because we're going straight to New York. We're taking you in your ears and your eyes, if you're watching us on YouTube, straight to New York where we find Rob. Tom Greeny's there, isn't he? Can you see him?
Rob, I can see you. We're crossing over to New York. We saw you yesterday in the hotel. Today, you're in Bethpage Black. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Yeah, really good. You?
Fine. I mean, not at all jealous of you, mate. Not at all. Tell us, first of all, what's the weather like? Because we're recording this on our Thursday evening. There's a bit more of a delay. Obviously, the Wi-Fi is not quite as good as your hotel room, 329. What's the weather like out there?
Weird.
Today's been, pretty brutal. The rain's been pouring, storms all morning. The players are out on the course at the moment, but quite limited with what they can do today just because there's been a lot of rainfall. So luckily, I'm breaking it right now, which is why I'm coming to you from literally beside the 1st and 18th grandstand. We were going to do it up on the grandstand.
Oh my God, you're by the grandstand. Oh my God.
I'll take you up there, but it's a bit loud.
I think we should talk about what we... Yeah, this is what I want to reference, is just before we started rolling, the plan was for Rob to be live from the grandstand. This was the whole ambition here. The vibes were so immaculate. It was going off so much. We couldn't cross to the grandstand because it was too loud. So, Rob, it feels like it's really picking up over there now. Like, what's going on? Are people partying?
Yeah, pretty much. I think it's Colin Morikawa said in his press conference yesterday that he felt it had been a bit tame so far this week. I think if he comes out today, they've really embraced the rain today, and I think they're just delighted the guys are out. The noise you heard when I was up on that grandstand just then, Bryson's out on the course. He's just coming down 17 and 18, so he obviously brings the vibes. They've got the music pumping out, which will be there tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. when people start getting on that first tee. It's really picking up. And I think it's always does this on the Thursday afternoon. It's a long week, and it's a long time till any balls kind of hit in anger. And then suddenly it's like, okay, we're not far away now. And the nerves start to build, the tension starts to build, and the excitement starts to build.
Oh my God, I'm excited.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm actually getting butterflies. So it's going to be midday our time. What does that mean for you? What time are you personally, Rob, having to get up tomorrow morning? And are you hitting the first shot of the day?
I don't wish I was, actually. God, I can't think of anything worse. I do not think I would get that ball on the tee, let alone off it. We will be on the bus out of JFK at 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. So we'll be up at 20 past 3, somewhere around there. We'll be on the grandstand hopefully by about 5:45, somewhere around then.
Right.
Yeah, which the crowds are allowed in at 5. We've got a dedicated area in the first grandstand for media, which I showed you guys. Unfortunately, we can't show everyone else at the moment because of the noise. But yeah, so we'll be right at the back of that grandstand, looking over all of the first tee action tomorrow morning when the groups get out and underway.
Wow, it's mad to think about the nerves. Tom, if we just cast our mind back till earlier this summer, I nearly did a wee in my pants just teeing off in front of the Four Brothers.
Yes.
And, that's not that big of a deal. Can you imagine teeing off for the whole Ryder Cup? I want to go back and talk about the weather, Rob, because it seems like a big thing.
Yeah.
A lot of the Sky Sports coverage talking about the weather. How much of a factor is this going to be across the weekend? And does this play into the Europeans into their strategy at all?
There's always an argument that bad weather suits Europe better, I guess. What I would say is this golf course was soft already. It was already, pretty soft. They set it up like that. There's been a lot of rain, which means the fairways are a lot softer. The greens are going to be a lot softer. They don't have sub-air systems here, which means the greens will have to dry naturally. So therefore, definitely going to be a lot more softness. So, yeah, a bit boring that, I know, but it's kind of an important thing. It means that it could just become a bit target practice because ultimately Bethpage's normal defences aren't here. The rough's been cut right down compared to a US Open. They're basically going to be able to stand on that tee and thrash, to some extent. And it might become a bit of a wedge game and then a putting competition. Hopefully not. Hopefully there'll be a bit more to it than that. Bethpage can definitely bear its teeth. But yeah, the weather for the weekend looks good. Tomorrow, Saturday, sunshine, pretty warm. Sunday, there's a chance of some rain, but nothing like today. None of the storms that we've had today.
Okay. So is it wetter than Celtic Manor in 2010? Because I'm still drying out from that day.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. And hopefully the Europeans have planned their waterproofs a bit better than the Americans did that year when they were having to rush into the pro shop to buy some because they weren't expecting Wales to be wet, which they obviously hadn't looked at Wales.
Yeah.
So, nowhere near that level, thankfully.
Right, okay. Who have you seen today then? Which players have you seen out and about on the course?
I haven't been out on the course much today because everything's been delayed a bit due to the weather from yesterday. They moved the opening ceremony to yesterday, which meant that then a lot of the press conferences got moved today. So we've seen all the big names in the press room today. We've had Bryson, Rory, John Rahm, Tyrrell Hatton, the rest of the US guys. Matt Fitzpatrick's been in. Yeah, so pretty much everyone's come through there. Seen a few of the guys on the range. One thing I have got to tell you, which you'll love, I'm sure you'll both be able to relate to this, is that Rory McIlroy hit a drive on the range earlier today that carried 382 yards. 382.
Oh, it's brutal.
It was insane.
Now, we've really been delving into driver lengths on the show this year.
Yeah.
And I do this now a lot walking around Porter's Park, looking at par fours and just going, yeah, Rory's going to drive that. That's mad, isn't it?
I imagine
Rory would have driven that.
The range is probably downhill with wind behind, and it probably included carry, so it doesn't really bother me that much.
Yeah.
So, but in all seriousness, when you talk about the wet, and obviously it's going to dry out pretty quickly if it gets warm, but while it's wet and while it's soft and damp, who does that benefit? The big hitters? I don't know. Explain to me who that benefits more.
Surely it's the Americans.
Yeah.
They're so used to just dropping things on targets. That
Exactly.
feels like
Get the
it's more
crowd
PGA
going then as
golf
well.
than it is European golf.
Yeah, I think you've got to remember, though, it's not like the old days when the European players played on the European Tour and the American players played on the PGA Tour. So the Americans, everyone plays here every week.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They're all used to these kind of conditions. And when a golf course gets soft, these guys are good because it is genuinely target practice. Yeah, obviously the longer hitters will have slightly more benefit because if you lose that roll, the ball's going to land and stop. Then, if you're carrying it 340 yards, then you're 340 yards down there. If you're one of the smaller hitters, it's, smaller, ironic these days, but if you're hitting it, 300 carry, then you're not getting much roll. You're going to be 40 yards behind. So you're, 2-3 clubs more into the greens. And that is the key here. Yeah. Fairways and greens is going to be the key because if you miss the fairways, if you miss the greens, if you miss the fairways, you're probably not hitting the greens. And if you miss the greens, there's a hell of a lot of sand and trouble around those greens that's going to catch you out. So I think I genuinely don't think it gives an advantage. I genuinely think these days that the US advantage of kind of doing that has gone to a degree. They've probably got a little bit more firepower, I would say. But I'm not concerned about that as a European. I have to say, I think we've got enough talent and enough good ball strikers. That means we're
confident.
And when we roll around to the Masters every single year, everyone watching the Masters knows Augusta like the back of our hands. We know all the holes. We know where things are going to get exciting. Rob, you've been there now. You've walked the course. What holes are we needing to watch out for? Where's the stretch where things are going to get exciting?
Now, I'm going to have to get my notebook out to refer to some notes because I do actually prepare for this.
He's taken notes. What a pro. That's a journalist.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing, Tom? As opposed to making a note on our notes app on our phones. That's what we do.
So I'd say initially the first hole. I know it sounds like a really silly thing to say. In a normal event, I think particularly because they've moved the tee forward for this event, the first hole's not overly intimidating, but what I would say is it's first tee of the Ryder Cup. So there's players that are never going to have experienced that before. There's going to be those crowds. That's, it's drivable for some of these guys. But you get it wrong and you're in a bit of trouble. So first hole, definitely one to look out for. I'd say the fourth, it's a long sort of sweeping par 5. It's got the great hazard bunker in the middle of it, which basically splits the fairway. And then you're hitting to a green where basically you can't see it because it's so far above you. So that's going to be a really, really tricky one. And then back 9, you've got the long par 4, the hardest hole on the course, which is the 15th. Hasn't got any bunkers off the tee, but you've got to hit the fairway. If you don't hit the fairway, you've got no chance of finding the green, I would say. And then around the green, it's got kind of 3 huge, ridiculously deep bunkers that if you're hitting in from the rough and you find one of those, you're in real trouble. And then hopefully matches get there, but 17's a par 3. It's going to have a big atmosphere because they've built a huge stadium around it. And obviously, if any matches do get to 18 is a special hole, but it is a chance to make a score. 18 is not a particularly difficult hole. So if it comes down to 18, you're going to see people really going for it and trying to get a birdie to probably nick a point or a half point.
And are we starting with foursomes? That is confirmed, isn't it?
We are starting with foursomes, yeah. Did the same in Europe 2 years ago. From a spectating point of view, it's one of those where it's a bit of a shame because you actually only then see 2 players tee off on that first hole rather than the 4 if it was 4
Yes.
balls. But yeah, foursomes is great, and it brings such a challenge because, you haven't got a chance to rescue it. If one of you hits a bad shot, the other one's in trouble and having to get you out of it. So, and there's a lot of strategy in foursomes as well with kind of, having to choose who's teeing off on what holes and really planning ahead, which Luke Donald's done a fantastic job of normally.
Isn't there some sort of logic in foursomes not that's a risk for America, because if you're right, a strategy and team falling apart, there's stories about when Tiger and Phil play together and they get cross with each other. This idea, and this might just be slightly hackneyed now, but this idea that Europe have stronger bonds and they play together as a team and they might be more tolerant of each other screwing up, whereas the Americans might be more individualistic and just annoyed if Bryson hits a bad drive. Do you think there's something in that, or do we just get on with it?
I think from the guys speaking themselves, they would say this year that's not a thing. The Americans seem like they're genuinely very united. I think Keegan Bradley's done a great job. Bryson said in his press conference earlier that he thinks that potentially Keegan is the greatest captain America's ever had for doing that, for bringing them together and uniting them. So, I mean, these guys know each other well, don't they? I don't think there's going to be anybody getting particularly annoyed with each other for a bad shot. It's part of match play. I think foursomes is a risk.
Yeah,
I really do. I think foursomes is a risk for America. But
why? Because they're not as good.
I think, generally, we started so well in foursomes in Rome, and I know it's home advantage, but it's like one of those that if we get off to a fast start, and that is key in the Ryder Cup. If you win those early matches, it sort of shows historically that it's really hard to come back if you go behind early on. So, first 2 or 3 holes are key. Morning session really, really key. If somebody's got a comfortable lead after that morning session, I'd say, you'll be looking at, they would definitely be strong favourites to lift the cup come Sunday for sure.
Interesting. Rob, what did you take from the pressers today? Because I know not everyone is like me and Tom, so watch every moment of it on Sky Sports. What were the little cherry-picked highlights from what you caught?
There was a really nice moment with Rory. Rory famously called this competition an exhibition before he played in 2010. He went into quite a lot of depth about a video that they watched at Celtic Manor in 2010, which was, it was a call, I think, in fact, from Sevi, kind of the year before he passed away.
Oh, the Sevi call, I've heard about this.
Rory said that was the thing that basically made him realise. He looked around that locker room, he saw guys crying, and he was like,
guys,
okay, this is something bigger than...
Guys, can I just say the spookiest thing has just happened? My picture of Sevi has just fallen off the wall as soon as you said that. I'm not joking.
The ghost of Sevi's here.
I'll apologise for the background noise, but there's just a lot of players walking over the player bridge back to the back to the team room. So if there's loads of noise.
Wow, look at that.
And loads of USA.
And have you seen? Yeah, can you ask them to pipe down? We're trying to entertain the UK audience here. Have you seen? Have you seen many European fans?
So do you know what, last night at the opening ceremony, it was actually quite a big surprise when they brought the Europeans out and announced them. There was a hell of a cheer and a lot of cheering when they were announced individually, which I think even surprised the players. They said that in their press today. John Rahm mentioned it. Tyrrell mentioned it as well.
They like him, man. They like him.
They do, and I think the thing is, these guys, like I say, they play here all the time. Obviously, come tomorrow, it's about USA versus Europe. But the fact is that, barring Rory, who got a boo yesterday, that's kind of, he's like the comedy bad guy, isn't he, for the Americans, I guess. But the likes of Tommy and people like that are gonna probably still get cheers. They'll get some grief, obviously. John Rahm mentioned that he'd been given some grief about his weight yesterday. Somebody suggested he should try a Zempic, which he quite enjoyed. Which was, pretty harsh, but I think he'll probably hear worse over the weekend. And Matt Fitzpatrick said his mum and dad have chosen not to travel, sort of based on 2 things. Firstly, when they played at Hazeltine in 2016, his mum and dad, heard a lot of stuff they didn't like, so they've not come out. But they're also playing in the Dunhill next week, so I think Matt finds it quite funny that they stayed at home to prep their games ready for the Dunhill.
Fine.
Oh my God, what is the Dunhill? How is the Dunhill involving now the Fitzpatrick's family? Like, the Dunhill is insane.
Yeah, it's such a great event. But Alex and Matt are both playing next week, so I assume that mum and dad are playing with, their 2 sons.
Oh, that's so cool, isn't it? It breaks my heart that the parents won't come over because of what was chanted. And it was mostly Skechers based. We know it was mostly Skechers based, and that's fine. Oh yeah, they went for this. Goodness me, they went for the Skechers. But what Matt needs to remember is, and I don't know if you lads have had this, but Matt Fitzpatrick's wife is really back on my Instagram and TikTok feeds doing all her dances again. He doesn't need to be sad. He has a very lovely life.
Yes.
Let me just put it that way.
Yeah, he's not struggling.
Well done.
He's not struggling.
But he's punching. All right, listen, Rob, we are going to have to leave it there. Thank you so much for coming to us live from the grandstand. I mean, it's very, very exciting. Oh, and not too much background noise as well. It's good of you to quieten the American fans. Hopefully they're going to stay quiet for the weekend. And we're going to speak to you again tomorrow. Who knows where you'll be? Who knows what the situation will be? It's brilliant to see you out there. And hopefully the rain will stop as well.
Yeah, this is so good.
But fingers crossed, yeah, fingers crossed. Weather looks good tomorrow, and I imagine by the time we speak tomorrow, we might have the first round of matches out of the way. So we'll know which way it's going.
Yeah, gosh. Oh, my God, it's exciting.
Rob, go and enjoy the afternoon. Thank you so much for coming on. Tom, I actually listened to the podcast we put out yesterday, and it was the most informative episode of Golf is Ruining My Life I've ever listened to.
Yeah.
With Rob, it sounded like we knew what we were talking about, which is ludicrous.
There were several
really.
things I said in the first half before Rob got here, which Rob, without realising it, totally corrected in the second half. It was incredible. There was real fake news at the beginning, and then a centrist, moderate information in the second half. Rob, we will speak to you tomorrow. Go well and make sure. Give me at least try and do one Europe chant when you're out there. I know it's frowned upon, but just try and get one out.
Please.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll find a quiet spot. I'll roast some Americans. Don't you worry.
Yes.
Let's go Europe.
Tom, is it time for some products?
Yeah, let's go to products. All right, Rob's gone to have a terrible time. When he left, actually, Tom, you had to go. So it's now the morning after, right? Here's the chronology. It's now Friday morning. It's the day of the Ryder Cup. Tom had to go. I sat with Rob while we waited for his files to upload, and we had some chat, and he was up in the stand, and he was just showing me the 1st and the 18th, and I was a jealous man last night, let me tell you, just sitting there chatting to him, and it just looks absolutely incredible.
Yes, I'm really in now, if I'm honest. My brain is fully Ryder Cupped. I just want to be a little bit... Could we just take a quick meta step back and just look at this holistically for a second? That's quite a lot of business chat.
Wow.
Sorry, I don't know what happened.
Blimey.
Sorry.
Someone's done a therapy degree overnight. All right, let's go 360 and talk about our feelings.
Yeah, let's jump out of it. Let's take a bird's eye view. Let's sort of do some blue sky thinking. I'm slightly worried about having Rob on the podcast.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
I listened to yesterday's episode, and we did 15 minutes of incomprehensible waffle at the start, which had no basis in any real golfing reality or any. We had no knowledge on anything. It was just me and you going. Me going, I shot 77, and you going, Ryder Cup, and just saying things, right? And then he came on for 10 minutes and was eloquent and knew what he was talking about.
Yeah.
I'm worried that he's better than us in every way.
I feel like we're a married couple and we've got into a hot tub with a 10.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What does this mean for our relationship going forward?
Not sure, but I can feel the listeners deserting us. But don't worry, they'll stick around because they want to know if you're ever going to shoot 77 again. They're not going anywhere.
That's what we've got.
Absolutely fine.
That's what we've got.
I am super excited about today. Now, the sort of slight conflict I've got is that at this point in time, I just want to talk about the pairings, but I'm very conscious that people are going to listen to this morning, and lots of our listeners will grab this in the morning before they tee off. But a lot of people are going to hear this afternoon into the evening when things have already happened. So kind of apologies, basically, in terms of what you're hearing, and we'll try and keep it as general as possible. But we cannot ignore the pairings. We cannot ignore the wider context around how the pairings was announced. There's a lot of videos out there of Luke Donald in that team room with his guys. You know, the minutiae of how that's been planned. You know, that moment when Luke announces we're going to lead with Hatton and Rahm and everyone starts high-fiving. That will have been in Luke Donald's head for the best part of 2 years now. Yeah,
totally. It's really interesting. So they've put DeChambeau and Thomas together because that was the big thing yesterday, wasn't it? Who's DeChambeau going to go out with? Going out with Justin Thomas. I didn't see that being a thing. I don't know what you...
Well, he's the nicest guy. Justin Thomas I think he's the nicest guy in the team. I really think Justin Thomas is just a really nice guy.
So you just think he'll put up with Bryson? We need someone to put up with Bryson. Stick Thomas out.
I've got to say, and again, I'm going straight into territory where a lot of you listening to this will go, well, this has already happened, Tom.
Yeah.
But that first tee shot... You know, you've got a short-ish par 4 that's gettable, and Bryson's going to have the blood pumping through his tiny brain.
Yeah, it's 397 or something. It's a flick.
Right, so it's a wedge. So I just feel like I can see a world where Bryson absolutely screws it up.
I think it's a
massive risk.
Okay, I think he's gonna grab this by the balls. I think this is everything Bryson loves. This is a show. This is the first shot of the Ryder Cup in New York in 2025. Clearly, he's going to be the one taking it, or is he not? This is what I mean. I don't want to do too much analysis of this because it's going to date so quickly. Surely Bryson's taking that first shot.
Oh my God! Imagine Justin Thomas gets his rescue out on the first tee.
I'm just going to take a 4-iron down the middle.
Okay, no, obviously it's Bryson, and it's Bryson against Rom. So it's actually, do you know what? It's a live-off. That's interesting.
Oh, yeah, it's a classic live-off. Scheffler, Henley, Ludwig, Patrick.
Yeah. I look at those teams now, and again, this is probably going to age badly, but I look at that. I think Hatton Ram's a point. I think Henley Scheffler's a point for America. I think Fleetwood Mac is going to... I'm sorry, Morikawa. Everyone is talking at Morikawa's... Well, talking down.
Yeah, that's
Morikawa.
done. That's done. That's
I think Schauffele has not had a great season.
Neither do
and
I.
Can't plays.
Ludwig's playing
Can't
great.
plays a nightmare. Ludwig's playing... I'm talking about Victor here. Vic and Bob.
Sorry, yes.
Victor Hovland and Bob Mack. Yeah. It's amazing that we've got a Vic and Bob situation, by the way.
Great for British comedy fans.
Yeah, exactly. Lots of Americans looking blank when people start saying that. But I think Vic and Bob's a point. I think Fleetwood Mac's a point. I think Vic and Bob's a point. I think Hatton and Ram's a point. I think we win 3 of those. On paper, we win 3 of those. Yeah,
it's genuinely really, really exciting. So my only worry is 10 past 12 is the latter half of my radio show.
Yeah, it's gonna get those links on your radio show. That's Dua Lipa. Is someone else?
That's Dua. Is Katy Perry. Cheers.
Yeah. All right, all the best. Will you bring golf? Because this is the moment that golf can punch through. So I've got a moment like this coming up. Now, on Sunday night, we do a thing called Magic at the Musicals, where my radio station puts on a show with lots of different musicals on, and I'm doing the warm-up. I'm going on stage at the Royal Albert Hall at about 7 p.m. I mean, that is peak Ryder Cup. In terms of the golfing calendar, 7 p.m. on the Sunday is peak,
you'll be in your Gurlm top, won't you? Surely you're wearing Gurlm.
European trainers.
Yeah, Gurlm away.
So I'm going to be on at the Royal Albert Hall. Admittedly, I only have to go on for 5 minutes, if that, which is fine. But I will very much be on with my phone in my pocket, going, all right, you lot, there are the fire exits. Enjoy yourselves. Here's Hamilton.
I'm off. See you later.
That's the plan.
My Sunday tickets of Oasis have very much crumbled, so that's totally fine.
Good
so I'm not there.
news.
They don't exist. Thank you very much to the person who emailed us, and I can't remember this guy's name. I'm actually just going to read the email because it's very funny.
Oh yeah, any chance I can have a ticket, mate?
Yeah.
What is it with Oasis fans? They're not even that good, guys. Get over it. Stop it.
Hi guys, long shot. I love golf, but I also love Oasis. For the pod, would you be keen on selling your tickets? Unbelievable. I don't mind them being off your dodgy mate in Preston. I don't have any tickets. They don't exist.
He doesn't have any dodgy mates. I also think this is a good chance to flag up our Discord. If you're going to be, and Tom, we will be on the Discord, basically. So if you go into our Discord, you go into Ryder Cup, Tom and I will be there, certainly Saturday afternoon. So my excitement revolves around Saturday afternoon. My wife's got a book event. Her new book's just come out, so she's off doing a book event. My boys are both at the same birthday party. Huge. The dad of which is a massive golf fan, and he is livid.
Yeah.
Right? Absolutely furious. And I'm going to be sitting at home all Saturday afternoon. That's it. There's nothing else happening. And I'm just going to be on watching, and I will be on the Discord. And that is a great place to go. If you've got a multitude of WhatsApp groups around golfers, get on our Discord and just start spaffing all the nonsense that you're thinking on there.
It's the perfect golfing group because there's like the best part of 1,000 people in there now, and there's just so much talk going on around the Ryder Cup. There's also a little live channel, Tom. I don't know if you're across this. I was playing golf with a guy the other day who loves Discord. He's like, "Are you getting in the live channel?" Obviously, Tom, I was like, what the hell are you talking about, mate? But I've done some digging. We could do our own little podcast in there live during the dying flames of the Ryder Cup on Sunday if we wanted to. So I think we'll probably end up doing that, just jumping in there and having a little chat. So join the Discord for that, because that stuff won't go anywhere. That will just live in the Discord channel. That's not going to become a podcast or go online or anything. So...
Well, no, that's not entirely true, Tom, because what happens is I pick up on the shards of excellent thoughts, and then I pretend they're my thoughts when I'm doing the podcast.
Yes, of course, there will be that. Yes. Yeah. It'll get fed back into feedback loop.
Exactly. So, listen, the foursomes is beyond exciting. That first shot, to give it to Bryson, is just magnificent, and I really think it's a massive risk. And going, as we were saying earlier on in the show with Rob, who actually has golf information, it is a huge, huge, huge risk.
Yeah, because this is the thing with Bryson is we've seen him play really well. You know, we saw him. He had a great. There was moments during the Masters where we saw some greatness from him, and then when he came up against it, when he came against McIlroy, he crumbled, right? So
Yeah.
there's no guarantee with Bryson, I don't think, that just because there's a pressure and there's a showman that he's going to step up to that and play unbelievably. We could talk about his irons at the Masters. They weren't where he wanted to be. There's no guarantee he's going to rise to the occasion here, although I'm really excited to watch it because I'm not as neggy on Bryson's performance as you might be, Tom. I think he could come out the blocks hot and love it. You will know from the first shot.
He's an unbelievable golfer. But that's it, isn't it? That's you're putting all, like you say, you will know from the first shot, and that can set a tone. That first shot can set a tone that everyone watches, everyone sees. The pressure on him, I mean, that is the highest pressure shot, I'm going to call it. That is the biggest pressure one shot he's going to have in his entire career. Discuss.
Wow. Unless...
Forget the wedge to win the US Open.
Yeah.
This is bigger. This is bigger. Because you're at the start of a thing, and everyone's watching you, and your team are relying on you.
To get it going,
You're
not just playing for yourself, are you?
You're doing this for everyone. No.
Yeah, I could see that. I can really get behind that.
And if he screws it up, if it goes wrong, it sets a tone. And ditto the Europeans. It happened a few years ago when I was watching the Ryder Cup. This is going quite way back. I can't remember which one it was, but the Americans were just all humping their drives into the rough.
Sure.
Excuse me. And it just sets the tone. And that's the thing about this. If that tone gets set across the course and the crowd are subdued and the weather isn't great and there isn't that much chanting going on and we go up in a few, that can turn the whole weekend.
How do you think Scotty's going to play? How do you think he's going to find foursomes? Golf's such an individual game and you get individual stars like that. And their game is so solid, but their game is solid for them. And he plays very boring golf. The thing with Scotty is I don't really attach him with great shots. He's not like a Rory, right? Where, think of what he pulled off at the Masters, where he was shaping shots and having to, do stuff in horrible positions. I just don't picture Scotty like that. I don't know about you. He's very middle of the fairway.
Because he didn't get into those horrible positions because he's too good.
But he might find himself in alternate shot in these positions.
Yeah. You know who's... Hang on. Has Jordan Spieth been selected?
No.
Because I would want Spieth playing. I would feel like, because, you're what you're saying about that inventive and dealing with weird situations, Spieth's very good at that because he's been caca for a lot of the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And Spieth is still an incredible player. I don't know, man. I feel like Russell Henley's amazing, by the way. Russell Henley... You look at his record, he is there or thereabouts again and again and again. Henley's name just appears, actually, the same way that Harris English does. The name just appears, and you kind of ignore it. It's just another random name with an American flag next to it when you're looking at the majors. But this guy's good.
I think Morikawa was such a weird shout, if I'm honest. I just find it such a...
I would have Spieth there ahead of Morikawa. And Schauffele's a weird shout.
Yeah.
They've not... I mean, Schauffele might not... I think Schauffele might have... I can't remember if he was a pick or not, but I just feel like Scotty will do what Scotty does. But looking back, whenever America have had their number one players, Tiger is the obvious one.
Tiger
Phil
hates the Ryder Cup, doesn't he?
They crap at it.
Awful.
Well, they crap at it. They just don't. They don't get it. They just can't. They can't take on the might of the Poulter in history. So I just feel
the postman. I love him. I love him. 5 birdies on the back 9 or whatever it was. Mad.
Yeah, incredible. But I don't know if Scotty has got the... I think you have to dig really deep when you're doing this stuff. And people like Rory and Rose, when they're displaying and shouting and screaming, they're showing that they want to dig deep to win this thing. Bob Mack is going to dig deep and get emotional. I can't see Scotty doing that. I can't see Scotty going.
No,
maybe I'm
no,
right.
no. He doesn't have the love for it. I mean, we know, don't we? We know. We saw the presser. We saw what he said. The crowds are already brutal, Tom. I was sending you some videos last night. There's a nice little video of Rory doing his top button up and someone shouting, "You don't need buttons to choke, Rory." Very funny. Well done. Did you see? Oh, Fitzy's chipping. Can we talk about Fitzy's chipping?
Yeah. There's a video of Fitzy doing a chip with his cack-handed chip, and there's just an American going, "You're crap at golf."
But then he was crap
at... yeah, but I've got free sketches.
But then he duffed both the chips, Tom.
Yeah, I know. But it was only a practice round.
I know.
I don't care.
It's funny,
I think-
isn't it? It is funny. I like all this stuff. This is a bit of me. All the crowd shouting and the bit of, like, bravado and, like, the banter stuff. Like, I think it's hilarious. I think it's good stuff.
But it's very, very hard to play when you're playing golf. To play golf knowing that every single person watching you wants you to fail.
Brutal.
You react in one of two ways. You either go Tyrrell Hatton and get a bit chippy and snarly and you play an amazing shot, Bob Mack, Fleetwood, these guys, or you go a bit, oh God, and you can see, and not to project too much, but you could see someone like Fitz doing that.
Yeah.
You know, when you hear about his parents not going out to watch it, you think,
breaks
well,
my heart.
God, Fitz, he's just a lovely Sheffield lad. He doesn't want nasty
Yeah.
New Yorkers screaming
He
at
doesn't-
him.
yeah.
But he's got to dig deep,
He
man.
wants to
He's gotta
write
dig
all his
deep.
shots down, and he wants to play he wants to write all his shots down and just about play better than you. And you know what? Normally that's fine,
Yeah.
but against a New York
wants-
crowd, it's not going to work.
I know. He just wants a pair of shoes you can just push your foot into without having to bend down. That's all he wants.
Why are we turning on our own guy? I like.
I don't know.
I like Matt. I like
love
Matt. I
him.
like his brother Alex. I think they're really good stuff. Right. Anyway,
Yeah.
that's enough for today.
Okay.
So we'll see you. Well, enjoy the day. Would depend on what time you're listening to this. No work's getting done. Let's be honest. I don't know how my radio show is going to
No.
go. I'm also playing golf this afternoon. Don't know how that's going to go either.
Why are you doing
'Cause
that?
I want-
Surely you're going to have your phone on your trolley.
Oh yeah. Because I want to shoot in the 70s, Tom. So we'll see you same time next time for more of this. Enjoy the first day of the Ryder Cup. Foursomes alternate shot, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.